Oh, Fujifilm, we've been through a lot of stuff together. You were there for me in the very beginning. You taught me my first steps when it comes to photography. You were there for the good times, for the bad times. You were also there for the what the fuck times. And no matter what we went through, no matter how many times I got rid of you, I still came back. But recently I've been thinking, my needs have changed. And you are just not meeting those needs anymore. I'm sorry, Fujifilm. I'm going to have to let you go. It's not you. It's me. Okay, it's kind of you. Let's face it. What's up, everybody? It's your neighborhood friendly greaser, Aaron Chavez, aka the Rockabilly Buddha. And today I kind of want to talk about why I ultimately ended up getting rid of Fujifilm. I know, it's crazy because I love Fujifilm. That camera brand is always going to be, the camera brand for me for fun, sort of. Like I said, I literally learned everything from Fujifilm. From how to properly expose a shot, how to shoot full manual, how to color grade and edit photos, starting all the way to the X-T2, which that camera, I may end up going back to that eventually. Maybe, I haven't decided. We'll talk about more on that later. But ultimately, I had to get rid of them. I had to get rid of all my Fujifilm stuff for something that better suits my needs. I know what you're thinking. Oh, you're just jumping on the trend of everybody else getting rid of their Fujifilm cameras. Well, kind of. But I'm going to be honest. I was already on the fence long before I started seeing other videos of people who had the same frustrations that I was experiencing, specifically with the X-H2S. And the frustrations I had with the X-H2S were the reasons why I ended up getting rid of all my Fujifilm gear to begin with. Starting right off of the bat with my number one frustration was the autofocusing system. I know. I feel like everybody's talking about Fujifilm autofocusing and how just terrible it's gotten over the years, and you're not wrong. See, when I was a baby photographer, I really didn't care too much about autofocusing because I didn't do a whole lot of action shots. A lot of the shots that I took with the X-T2, the X-T4, even the X-H2S, they were posed shots, like for portraits or for street photography, where it didn't really matter, and if there was a little blur, it actually kind of helped with the photo a bit. But as I grew as a creator, as an artist, as a business person, I started taking on more and more gigs, specifically event photography and a little bit of concert photography. And every time I shot at those venues that, wherever the shows were or the event was, I was frustrated with a lot of the shots that I was reviewing in Capture One were blurry. They were so out of focus, and not even in a creative way. And I feel like with every firmware update that the X-H2S had, the autofocusing got worse. And the frustrations I had with the photography side was one thing. Switch it over to video, my frustrations grew even more, especially filming myself like I am right here. There would be times where there were shots where the autofocusing would pulse behind me, or it just failed to detect me in the frame altogether, or failed to detect my subject when I was filming either a client or a friend. Yes, I know that I probably could have did manual focusing, and there was a few times where I did do that, and that's fine when filming for a client. But filming yourself, you need a reliable autofocusing system, and I just didn't have that with the X-H2S. What's funny is when I bought that camera, at that same time I had owned the Panasonic S5, the original S5 with a contrast-based autofocusing system that everybody knows is just not great, especially filming yourself. I thought to myself, oh, the X-H2S is going to be way better than this S5. And for some time, it was. But again, the firmwares that came out that were supposed to improve the camera just made it so much worse. And I almost thought about going back to the original 1 point something firmware on the Fujifilm, but I ultimately decided not to do that. And then shooting in low light situations, even with fast prime lenses, yeah, autofocusing, it just got worse. It just got so much worse. Speaking of low light situations, the other frustration that I had was, well, the noise. Exposing in darker situations was tough, and there was some visible noise. Granted, low light situations on a crop sensor camera, that's bound to happen. Even with fast prime lenses, I still had some noise in my pictures when I put them in Capture One and edit them in post and whatnot. And it wasn't a super deal breaker for me. It was just an annoyance. My whole goal is to get the shot in frame exactly how I wanted it to be. That way, when I import it into Capture One, less work that I have to do with correcting the shot and just purely focus on editing the image to how I had planned. And even though the X-H2S with a, I don't know, like a 1.4 aperture lens and noise reduction set to like 2 or 3, it helped. It did help. And I do know that with the stack sensor, it does allow a little bit more light into the crop sensor camera. The fact of the matter is, it's still a crop sensor camera, so there's still going to be noise. Again, it was not enough for it to be a deal breaker, but it was very, very frustrating, which made the whole experience overall not ideal. And it's because of those two things alone that I started realizing that I am no longer having fun shooting with Fujifilm, specifically the X-H2S. Which leads to my third point. If you're not having fun with the camera, is it the right camera for you? And yes, you could chalk it up to it being gas. I have suffered from gas in the past, and some would argue I still have some pretty bad gas. But here's the thing. When it comes to shooting, either professionally or for fun, like creating these videos or doing street photography or whatever, I have one thing in mind. Am I going to have fun at this shoot with my camera? Does my camera inspire me to want to create? And after a while, the X-H2S stopped inspiring me. I would just let it sit there on my shelf collecting dust, and I just didn't really enjoy grabbing it and taking it with me anymore, which is not a good feeling, especially since I wanted that camera to be my all-purpose, creative, professional camera. I just couldn't do it. And that ultimately led me to grab all my Fujifilm gear, take it to my local camera shop, and trade it all in. And I ended up going with a full-frame camera. In fact, I ended up going with a camera brand that I have never used before. This is my first time using it, and I gotta say, it meets a lot of the needs that I had. Does it handle better in low light? Yeah, because it's full frame. Is the autofocusing good? Yeah, I mean, so far. And is it fun to shoot with? Like, every time I turn on this camera, I'm having so much fun with it. I'm really happy that I ended up buying the... You know what? I'm not going to talk about this camera yet because I'm still testing it out. So, stay tuned for that. But yeah, I am having fun with this. And it just sucks having to give up Fujifilm for the last and maybe final time. Well, I don't want to say final, because there are a lot of things that I really did enjoy with Fujifilm in general. I enjoyed the film simulations. In fact, I have a photo behind me that I shot in a custom film simulation that I created all in JPEG. That is a JPEG only photo back there. That was shot with the XT2. The XT series as a whole is fun to shoot with because it has that classic retro style, and it really did truly inspire me to create and really inspired me to want to, go out and take some street photos. Same thing with the X Pro line. Like, I love that rangefinder style. So if I do end up going back to Fujifilm, it'll probably be with the XT line or the X Pro line. I haven't decided yet. But for now, I got this new system. I'm excited to try it, and I'm having so much fun with it. So maybe this isn't goodbye forever. Maybe it's just goodbye for now, until I have enough money to buy another XT camera or X Pro. We'll see. Only time will tell. So if you're on the fence about switching from Fujifilm to another brand, take a couple minutes and really think about your situation, your needs, and assess what those are. Because if you're shooting as a hobby, then Fujifilm might be the best choice. But if you're shooting professionally and there's certain things that aren't working out for you with the Fujifilm line, well, then maybe it is time to jump ship, like me. And I know anybody can use any camera out there and create beautiful images. But even then, everybody has very specific needs. And when those needs become apparent and your camera can't meet those needs, well, then maybe it is time to think about something else, especially in a professional setting. See, for me, my camera is more than just a tool. My camera is something that is essentially an extension of myself. So comment down below. Do you feel the same way? Are you trying to switch from Fujifilm, or have you already done it? Let me know. I'm curious to see your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the YouTubey things. That'll help me out. I'm really trying hard to grow this channel, and the more and more I create, the more and more I'm starting to feel more confident in creating these videos. So go on this journey with me. Let's just keep going. Let's do this. Let's create. Let's have fun. Let's tell our stories like I'm doing now. So thank you. With that being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Like always, love, peace, hair grease. Stay greasy, everybody, and stay creating.